Okay, so now we are going to continue and we are going to look at question 3, which deals specifically with VAT. Okay, so this question was divided in question 3.2, 3.1, 3.2. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's look at what was the first part of the question. The first part of the question asked you to complete the below table. So they've given you specific items on the left-hand side, and they asked you to indicate whether it's a standard rate, a zero rated, exempt, or a non-allowable item. Okay, based on the description, you had to indicate this. Okay, so based on this question, aircraft fuel, where do you think that would be? Where do you think we would indicate aircraft fuel? Is it standard rated, zero rated, exempt, or non-allowable? Okay, so it's standard rated. So this is the exception to the rule. So this one is standard rated. Okay, brown bread. Would brown bread be standard rated, zero rated, exempt, or non-allowable? Okay, zero rated, that's correct. So it's zero rated, the brown bread. Interest on fixed deposits. Under which category do you think we'll put that? Lina, that's absolutely correct. Under exempt VAT. Yes. Advertisement in the local newspaper. What do you guys think? Standard, zero, exempt, or non-allowable? Standard rated, so it's not a zero rated, exempt, or a non-allowable item. Okay, staff refreshments. Where will we put staff refreshments? That's correct. So this is a non-allowable item because it is seen as an entertainment expense. So let me just make a comment here. It's an entertainment expense. Okay. And this one is the exception to your petrol/fuel that are normally zero rated. Okay, so aircraft fuel is the exception to the other ones. Generally, it would be zero rated, but that is the exception. Okay, let's look at number 3.2. The following information has been taken from the books of Revelia Traders, a general trading shop in Braamfontein for the month of April 2020. It is a registered VAT vendor and only trades with registered VAT vendors. Now, why that information here is important. If we don't tell you they trade with only registered VAT vendors, it's so that they can claim the input VAT. Otherwise, they will not be allowed to claim the input VAT if they acquired it from a non-vendor. They tell you the VAT rate is 15% on all its sales, and now they want you to go calculate the missing amounts. Okay, so let's start. So the first one, we've got an amount excluding VAT of 35,000 Rand. So how would you calculate the VAT amount? So how would you calculate A? We take the 35,000, okay? This represents 100%, okay? Because it's excluding. So we've got 100. We want 15. Okay, so we said, how does the formula work? What I want is at the top, so I want the 15, and what I have is at the bottom. So I currently have the cost, the amount excluding VAT. And that is how you would calculate the VAT portion. Okay, so you take the 35,000, multiply with 15, divide by 100 is 5,250. Okay, so that's how you calculate the VAT amount. Now, if I want to work out the VAT inclusive amount using that same scenario, I would do B equals, you would take the 35,000. I want the 115, but I currently have 100, and that should give me 40,250. Alternatively, I could have also just taken the 35,000 plus the 5,250 Rand to get to the value. Okay. Any questions on the first two items and how we worked it out? Are you guys okay so far? Okay, then number C, we want the VAT exclusive amount, but we've got a VAT inclusive amount. So how we work it out is we say, okay, fine. I've got 920. I want the 100, but I currently have got the 115, which then gives me a value of 800 Rand. Okay, so that's how I work out the VAT exclusive amount. Then to work out the VAT amount, I can just take the 920 less the 800 will give me 120 Rand. Or I can say I've got 920, I want the 15%, I've got 115, and you will get to the same value. So you could do either or at the end of the day. Okay, because in the test you only have to give the value, but what I want you to do is give me your calculation so that if you've made a mistake, I can still give you some method marks toward your answer. Okay, then E, we've got the VAT amount, but we want to know what is the VAT exclusive amount. Okay, so I've got the 750. I want the 100, but I currently got a 15. So to get to the value, I take the 750, I multiply it with 100, divide by 15, gives me 5,000 Rand. So that means F is then 5,000 plus the 750 will give me 5,750. Then the last two items would be similar. So the drawings one, okay, so the drawings one will be different. So what you also had to read is what the thing said. So this one was a cash sale. Okay, so it's a normal sale that we've done. This was advertising. This was goods purchased. This one is for drawings. Now remember, drawings does not have a VAT component onto it because of the fact that it is cash. So this answer would actually be 0 because there is no VAT on just cash being exchanged. Okay, if there are goods exchanged for it, then you would add the VAT component on, but this was an exception to the rule. Because of the fact that it's drawings, there wasn't actually any goods that exchange hands, and normally with drawings, the owner will pay the VAT, so that VAT that you show there will be 0. So that means number H here would then be 500 and not an amount different to that. Okay, and then the credit sales here at the bottom would look exactly the same calculation as what we've done for E and F. Okay, let me quickly just show that on the PowerPoint slides for you guys. It's this we've done. Let's just look at the last two. So I would then be the 1,200 multiply with the 100 over 15 to give you 8,000 Rand, and J would be 1,200 plus the 8,000 would give you 9,200 Rand. And this is how you would complete the specific table. Okay, then the last questions we have. So 3.2.2, they asked you to calculate the input VAT total. So now you have to calculate the input VAT. Now remember, input VAT is based on expenses. Okay, so let's quickly look at what input VAT would be calculated on. So cash sales would be output. Okay. Advertising would be input, so it's an expense. Goods purchase would be an input. Drawings had nothing, and credit sales would be an output. Okay, so what that means is number D and the 750 will have to be added together to get to the input VAT, and to get to the output VAT we would take A and 1,200 for that calculation. Okay, so it's the 120 which we've calculated for D, yeah, so D we calculated as 120, and then the 750 was given to us. So our total input VAT is 870, whereas our output VAT is all the VAT on sales, and that is the 5,250 that we've calculated plus the 1,200 that they've given to us. And then the last thing they asked is calculate the VAT payable refundable. Now remember, VAT payable refundable is the difference between your output VAT and your input VAT. So we take the output VAT, which is the 6,450, and we deduct the input VAT of 870, which then gives you a VAT payable of 5,580. And that is how you had to answer the last three questions. Okay, any questions on this? Do you have any questions on input, output VAT, or the VAT payable that we've just calculated? Okay, and the last step is because of the fact that this is VAT payable, when you had to indicate whether it's an asset or a liability, this would be a liability because it's money that I owe to SARS. So here the last thing that asked you is whether it's the payable refundable and whether it's an asset or a liability. Okay, and a lot of students actually missed this last part of it and did not indicate that based on their suggested solution. Okay, do you guys have any questions for me?